Alright folks, welcome back. This is episode 3 of trying to get the biggest number of all time. By that I mean glitchless high score on a random seed. This part of the run is easily the most monotonous part of the run, the least interesting part of the run. So I'm going to yap for quite a bit. And then if you want some actual gameplay footage, instead of skipping to the end of this video, just go to the video description and look for the links to part 1 and part 2 and a future part 4 when it eventually becomes available. I'm only including this part of the run for completeness. I don't actually think there's any potential for anything interesting to happen. We aren't going to be doing very much shopping. We probably aren't going to learn anything in the next 2 hours or however long it's going to take. But we can start with a status update. We have 3 blueprints and 2 brainstorms so far. 1 negative brainstorm because we used ectoplasm 1 time to get the 1 negative brainstorm. We already have the Baron for scoring. This will give us times 1.5 molt on all of our kings held in hand. We do not yet have the mime. The mime is the one that re-triggers the held in hand effect, so it would increase our score. We don't have the mime yet because we don't need the mime yet. We were able to score E30 in this round, and in previous rounds we were able to get up to E35 with a full hand of red seal kings instead of the purple seal kings. The red seal kings are the ones that give you an extra re-triggering effect like the mime does. Let's say for the sake of science, let's say hypothetically, we got the mime right now. We replaced Perkeo with the mime right now, and we also got a tarot card. The Chariot tarot card would allow us to turn one of the kings into a steel king. The 1 steel king is the one that you copy with the cryptids. 150 cryptids upstairs so far. Then we would be able to score this much according to the Balatro calculator website. You make the 1 steel king, and after copying this one with all of the cryptids, you have about 300 kings held in hand. We can score right now about 2700, allegedly. For context here, the score that we're trying to beat, the person that's claiming they have the #1 high score of all time, they are reporting E2600, a little bit less than this E2700. They had these exact jokers. They used 140 cryptids instead of our 150 cryptids. So we have a little bit more cryptids right now. We have a little bit more points than they had already. Except it's only ante 17. We have maybe 80 more rounds to go. 80 more rounds making 6 cryptid cards per round. You do the math. Except we're not going to make 6 cryptid cards every round forever. Eventually we do need to pick up the mime to increase our scoring, and when we do pick up the mime we have to get rid of one of these blueprints or brainstorms. So we go from making 6 cryptids per round to making 5 cryptids per round. And maybe as we get later on in the run, even later in the run as the scoring requirements go up, we will need to use some cryptids in order to survive. And so maybe each round you make 5 cryptids, but you have to use 2 cryptids in order to survive. You make 5 cryptids, but you have to use 7 cryptids in order to survive. So eventually we'll reach a point where you actually require more cryptids than you are able to make each round. This forces you to skip rounds, and so we will skip a bunch later on in the run, but at the very least we will make more cryptids than we currently have. Now I want to respond to some of the comments, some of the questions. Someone asked the question, what was the restarting method for this particular run? How did we end up on this random seed that started with Perkeo? The standard method for restarting to find legendaries, whether you're looking for Perkeo or any other legendary, the standard method is restart, hold down the R button until the first skip tag is a charm tag. Charm tag is the one that gives you a mega arcana pack. When you open any arcana pack, each individual tarot card has a 0.3% chance of being a soul card, soul spectral card. And if you open a mega pack that has 5 tarot cards, that's about 1.5% chance of having at least 1 soul. And the soul is the spectral card that gives you the legendaries. There's 5 different legendaries, all equally likely, so about 20% of the time you get Perkeo specifically, and Perkeo is the one that we are using right now to copy the consumables, copy cryptid in this particular case, but you could use Perkeo for any other kind of degenerate stuff that Perkeo enables. Now that's the standard method of restarting for legendaries, restarting until you get the charm tag for the Mega Arcana packs. For this particular run, I did a similar method. There is an advantage to getting the booster pack in the shop instead of having to skip. There's an advantage to not skipping, right? So what I did for this particular run is I just played the first round. Play the first round, look at the first shop. Look at the first shop over and over again. In the first shop, the first booster pack is guaranteed to be a Buffoon pack, and then the second booster pack is kind of equally likely to be any of the different booster packs, except for Spectral pack, which is a little bit more rare, but you get the Arcana pack a little bit less than 25% of the time. Not necessarily Jumbo or Mega Arcana pack, but you get an Arcana pack about a quarter of the time, and then one of those will eventually have a soul, and one of those souls will eventually be per KO. So for this particular run, it took me about 5 hours of playing the first round over and over again, checking the first shop over and over again, landing on the 1 per KO after 5 hours. Now, if you want to try this yourself, if you want to do your own per KO run, whether cryptid or something else, I don't recommend doing that. Just use a set seed, right? I've done a bunch of these runs. I have enough videos where just look at an old video where I have a different per KO for a different reason and use one of those old seeds. Or if you want a truly random seed experience where you don't know what's going to happen, obviously if you watch this series, if you watch part 1, you know what's going to happen in the first couple of antes or whatever. Maybe you want a different random seed that also has per KO. We have a mod for that. It's called the Brainstorm mod. The Brainstorm mod was created for me and others like me of doing these kind of, instead of spending hours restarting to find legendaries, okay, we'll make it quicker. Here's how we're gonna make it quicker. The Brainstorm mod, first step is you input some kind of search features, some kind of filter features. So I only wanna play runs that have a first skip tag, charm tag. Charm tag is the one that gives me Arcana pack so that I can get legendaries. Or maybe I want a rare tag, or maybe I want a polychrome tag. You can't get a negative tag in Ante 1, you can't get a spectral tag in Ante 1, but you can get the charm tag. Maybe I don't want just any Mega Arcana pack. Instead of just spamming Arcana packs, maybe what I want is a guaranteed soul. Maybe what I want is the first ante, I want the voucher to be overstock to start. That can be very powerful. Or maybe I want to start with the telescope and then do telescope with an observatory combination. That can be very powerful if you know about that technology. But the way that the Brainstorm mod works is there's a hotkey. It'll restart the game. It'll pick a random seed. And if the random seed doesn't match the search features, it will simulate a restart. It'll restart automatically. It'll give you a new different random seed and then check again, does it match the filters? Another seed, another one, until eventually it finds the one seed, a random seed that fits all of the filters. Allegedly 1,000 seeds per frame. Allegedly. I think this depends on your hardware that you're using, but if you want per KO specifically, there is a checkbox for that. So not just any legendary, but per KO specifically. If you do want to do the telescope and observatory combination, this will give you telescope in the first ante and then observatory in the second ante. For the booster pack, we said the first booster pack is always a Buffoon pack, but you can make, okay, in the first shop, maybe the second booster pack I want Celestial pack, or maybe actually better Spectral pack, Mega Spectral pack, so I can get an Ankh or Ectoplasm in the first shop, maybe Immolate for money, or any of the seals you might want in the first shop. All of these search features. Now, I do want to respond to, I did see in the comments some allegations of foul play, allegations of cheating, let's say. Did we use the Brainstorm mod to find this particular run? This, we're calling it a random seed, right? If you use Brainstorm, it's not really a random seed, is it? Like, it's random in the sense that you don't necessarily know all of what's going to happen in the future other than the filters that you're using for the first 1 or 2 antes or something like that. It's random in the sense that if different people use the Brainstorm mod and then start up a run, you will get a different seed from someone else. but it's not really random. This is what we call a filtered seed. Filtered seed because it's kind of like a 1 in a million seed to fit all of these criteria, right? Or maybe it could be even more rare than that. So if you use the brainstorm mod, the game will tell you. It'll show in game. So when you use a set seed, if you do a seeded run, it tells you that a seeded run was used. Same with brainstorm. It'll tell you that brainstorm was used. If you didn't know about that, then maybe you just don't know what you're talking about, and maybe you should just sit down and enjoy the ride. If I actually wanted to cheat, I know enough more about the game than you probably that I could probably do it in a way that you wouldn't know how to detect, right? Okay, other kind of quality of life mods that we're using the Saturn mod. So the Saturn mod, one feature that I like to use is the improved deck viewer. And what this does is when you're playing around, whatever cards that you've already used, whatever cards that you've already drawn, instead of them being grayed out, they just don't show up at all. And so it makes it much easier to see exactly what's left in your deck each round. For this particular type of run where we have a lot of animations that take a lot of time, the one feature is the increased speed. So normally the game is capped at 4 times speed, and then with the Saturn mod you can go up to 8 and 16 times speed. That helps a little bit. If you want, there is a feature that just removes the animations. Okay, so no animations for reserve parking or mail-in rebate or the scoring animations from the Baron and Mime retriggering all your gold cards. You just remove the animations. Also, we have the consumable stacking feature. So what that looks like is here I have 150 cryptids. If I click on them like this, we can stack them all up, and now it's much easier to see that we have exactly 150 cryptids, and if you want we can expand them again. It does take a second. Anyway, you can also split off one of these. You can sell one or you can sell all. Sell all here we have currently $1,700 worth of cryptids. Let's merge. All right, there we go. Now it's when you have too many consumable cards upstairs, it makes it impossible to click on the tarot cards when you buy tarot cards from the shop. All right, so what's the plan right now? The plan right now is just grind out more rounds, get more cryptid cards. Eventually we will need more points. Eventually we will swap out our jokers. We have the 3 double tags so far. With the double tags, I am still looking for a voucher tag, looking for a skip tag. So voucher wise, we already have overstock, we already have antimatter for an extra joker slot, we already have the boss reroll. Omen Globe could possibly give us another ectoplasm in an Arcana pack. So the one missing voucher that I'm looking for right now, I'm looking for the time travel. I'm looking for -1 anti, right? Hieroglyph and petroglyph. So the reason why, you could think of this as, okay, if we just keep playing more antis, then eventually we will get all of the vouchers. Like if I play 20 more antis, eventually I will see the petroglyph. Eventually I will see the hieroglyph. Eventually we'll be able to go back in time. One potential issue with that is when we get later on in the run, the scoring requirements are so high that you are forced to skip. And when you skip, let's say you get an extra ante, but then you skip both the big and small blind, you really only get the 1 round from that ante, which means you're not getting that many cryptid cards from that ante. And so if we get the time travel in the future, if we get an extra ante in the future, then maybe that extra ante is only an extra round, and maybe that's not useful to us. So actually what we want is, we want to get the -1 ante. We want to get the extra ante earlier, because earlier means we get to play the lower scoring rounds. We get to repeat one of the lower scoring rounds rather than repeating one of the higher scoring rounds in the future. Or sorry, higher scoring antes in the future. Eventually, like I said, we will need to swap out one of the brainstorms and one of the blueprints for a mime. And so I would rather repeat ante 17 than repeat ante 37. Because right now, where the scoring requirements are low, I can get more cryptids per round right now, until we swap out blueprints and brainstorms. Anyway, I'm looking for a voucher skip tag. Let's go next. One more mod that I'm using. I'm using the Brainstorm. No, sorry, the Blueprint mod is the one that does this. So it shows you what Blueprint is copying. There was an update to the Blueprint mod written by Jonathan Wilson. So the original Blueprint mod written by Stupid. And then the update, now we can do Brainstorm. So Brainstorm, copying per KO. This part of the mod was written by Jonathan Wilson. Anyway, it's delightful. In general, if you want to know more information about the mods that I use, all of the mods by name, Blueprint mod and Brainstorm mod and Saturn mod, you can find the mods in the Normie Balatro Discord. You can also, the GitHub pages are public, so you might be able to just Google the Balatro mod, Blueprint mod, GitHub page and just find it that way. But if you would like a curated list of all the mods I use, if you would like help with the mod installation, consider joining the Balatro University Discord specifically. Instructions in the video description. All right, we can get an extra discard. Extra discard, we get extra money from our Faceless Joker. We also get extra, maybe triggers from our Purple Seals, more tarot cards, so that's fine. Sorry, I want to make sure that we're copying the percolator here when we leave the shop. Look at that, it's a percolator. We could also do the Baron. Okay, anyway, I want to copy the Perkeo so I don't forget about it. The last tarot card that we used was a Fool for Temperance, so I'm not going to take the Celestial Pack yet. We do have the Telescope, so there's guaranteed plutonium in there. Let's wait until we find a Temperance in the shop. Standard packs, I don't think there's anything that I'm looking for. I don't think there's anything that I really want to add to the deck right now. Even with 5 discards, we're not necessarily discarding 5 cards at a time. We're only discarding 3 cards at a time for our Faceless Joker. As far as re-rolling here, we don't have any Joker slots. We don't need any tarot cards. So there's nothing that we're re-rolling for right now. Something that we could be looking for in the future is I want to get Ectoplasm. 1 more Ectoplasm, 1 more Joker slot, and then we can re-roll. Or maybe in the future I do need a Mime. I don't need the Mime right now, but in the future if I do need the Mime, I can re-roll for it. So I think I'm going to re-roll just a few times. You could get a Hermit, you could get an Emperor. Death and Sun we don't need. When we do, I did notice there were 3 Moon cards. So something that you could do when you're re-rolling, you can buy random tarot cards and just hold on to them, and that way they don't get repeated, they don't show up in the shop anymore. There's 22 possible tarot cards, so it is a very marginal advantage, very slight advantage, but it is technically relevant. Here there were Moon cards that would have been re-rolled into some other different tarot card. There's Plutonium, I guess I will take. Star and World. Didn't get Hermit or Temperance. There was a Hermit. I should have used the Celestial Pack when there was a Hermit. Oh well. Anyway, when we are re-rolling here, we could, in theory, get negatives, random negatives, but we can't get negatives of stuff that we already have, so you can't get a negative Blueprint or a negative Brainstorm. So I'm just going to save my money until in the future I do need to spend the money on re-rolling. Let's get percolating. Okay, Polychrome tag here. There is a voucher tag. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it 4 vouchers. We have 3 double tags, so it'll be 4 vouchers. I'm going to do it right now. And then if we repeat ante 17, then we, like I said, we have more rounds where we don't need the Mime yet. Okay, boss here, play only 1 hand type. That's fine. Let's copy the Faceless Joker. Go next. Alright, so each round the gameplay is pretty simple. You just discard the 3 kings for the Faceless Joker. And you get $5 times however many copies. That's it. Oh, I did try to find a music mod, a music replacer that replaced the Balatro music, but the options that I found require Steam modded. Steam modded is a mod loader that we use for the Pokemon mod and other mods. The problem with Steam Modded is it has some changes from vanilla gameplay. It has some what they're calling bug fixes. Bug fixes which of course Thunk is aware of and has after a year decided not to fix on purpose, right? So sort of jumping the gun here on these bug fixes they're calling. For this, like I said, glitchless high score, random seed high score, vanilla high score, I don't want to use Steam Modded, which means I can't use any of the music replacers that depend on Steam Modded. Which means if you have a music replacer mod in mind, then tell me about it. Or if there's like specific music that you would like to listen to and have in the background of this run or future runs that I do, tell me about it. Music possibly that you've made that you want me to include? Maybe. I'll think about it. Let's copy the parking or money. That's really what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is there's a lot of cool Balatro covers and Balatro inspired music out there. What I'm looking for is permission to use your music. Or maybe you know of some music for which permission has already been given. Maybe. Alright, so this is, with the red Seal Kings, this is the best that we can do. The highest that we can score. Ship it. Okay, E37 is the best that we can do. Let's remember that. Alright, copy the percolator. Go next. So we can check a buffoon pack if there's a negative. Each joker has a 0.3% chance of being negative, so you never know. Standard pack we don't need, but we can look. Alright, we looked. We can do a little bit of re-rolling, maybe. Priestess, maybe. Emperor. Okay, Hermit. There was a bean. A bean can be a way of scoring extra points temporarily. Sometimes it's worth it to sell one of the brainstorms and replace it with a bean. Instead of using an extra brainstorm to copy the Baron, that can score extra points temporarily while you are struggling to find a mime, perhaps. Oh yeah, I need to take the voucher tag, right? So let's go copy the Faces Joker, skip to the boss. We now have 4 vouchers. This is in addition to the 1 voucher that we get in the next shop. So we get 5 different vouchers. No repeats. All right, let's discard purple. In the future, when our hand size gets bigger, then I will use the animation skip. I don't like to use the animation skip by default because it makes the game feel weird to me. Like I'm used to some animations, even if it's faster animations. Ship it. Then it gives me more time to yap. Ship it. Ship it. Switch to the Baron for the final hand. And that's the last one. Oh yeah, someone asked about this too. I do want to be clear, when you move the jokers during the scoring animation, it doesn't change the current scoring. As soon as you submit the hand, all of the joker positions are locked in. But you can set up your jokers and move them for the next hand. And so there we had the parking, we shipped it, and then while it was counting our money, then we switched to the Baron. And switching to the Baron didn't affect the current hand, but it affects the future hand, the next hand. In part 1 or part 2 or whatever it is, we were using the mime, copying the mime at the end of the round to get the extra activations from the gold cards. The reason why that works is because after the scoring phase, after scoring the final hand, there's a second separate phase where it counts the gold cards, and that's why it works. If you are not very fast, if you're not very dexterous, you could just change the game speed for the final hand if you want. And then, you know, going from 4 speed to 0.5 speed, you get 8 times as much time to do it. So what would be 4 or 5 seconds becomes 40 to, or whatever second, 30 to 40 seconds, however much time you need. All right, voucher wise, we can take the grabber for an extra hand. We could go back in time here. Usually we don't want to go back in time right away because it does cost us a hand each round. But the way the voucher tags work is once it populates the shop here, you have to buy the vouchers now or else they go away. So I have to go back in time right now. I could take the planet merchant, but I probably don't want to because I don't want the planet cards in the shop. I want to eventually be able to reroll for jokers. Eventually, you will get rid of Perkeo and replace it with another Blueprint or Brainstorm or Mime or Baron or whatever is going to score you more points. So I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to reroll in the future. Also, if I get Ectoplasm for an extra Joker slot, I want to be able to reroll for Jokers. So I think I'm not going to take the Planet Merchant. Yeah, maybe I'm not going to take Tarot Tycoon either. Tarot Tycoon actually gives you a lot more tarot cards. The one awkward thing is these vouchers will show up again in the future, and that's a little bit stinky. But I think we have enough vouchers where maybe we don't have to worry about that too much. I think I am going to take the Magic Trick though. Magic Trick could give us cards in the shop, and then it's easier to pick up cards from the Magic Trick than it is from the standard pack. And even though the Magic Trick adds more things to the shop, playing cards instead of jokers, it doesn't actually add that many playing cards. It's not that big of a shift. So I'm going to take the Magic Trick. I don't have to take the Magic Trick right now. This was the voucher that was already in the shop. I can take the Magic Trick after the big blind. I'm not going to take Planet Merchant. I'm not going to take Tarot Tycoon. We did want Tarot Merchant earlier because Tarot Merchant helped us with our deck building. And the faster you get the engine online, then the more value you get to generate per round. And so it's worth it to take the Tarot Merchant, but maybe not the Tarot Tycoon. We don't need anymore. I could take an Arcana pack. The last card I used was Temperance, so let's go Arcana. If you want to optimize here, if you want to do a little micro optimization, what you can do is you could take the Priestess and then re-roll. Okay. And then there's a Fool for Temperance. Okay, so you use the Plutonium, use the Priestess, use Temperance. Sorry, what I was trying to do is you hold on to tarot cards. Okay. Magician, Empress, Judgment, Hierophant. So here's 4 tarot cards, which won't be repeated. These won't show up in the Arcana pack. And then we get Temperance. Nice. And we could go one more, but there's nothing really that we want to shop for. It's such a small optimization that maybe at this point in the run, maybe it's not worth my time to buy the extra tarot cards. I'm just being lazy is what I'm telling you. Let's go next. 168 cryptids. Don't need the skip tags. Boss says face down after played. I think we don't need to worry about. So let's just copy our Faceless Joker and repeat the same round that we've been doing for however many hours. I'm not going to use the Priestess because we did just use a Temperance, and now Fool gives me Temperance. Nice. Okay, Hermit is okay. And then a Fool on a Hermit would be okay. So here, if I wanted to optimize, I would hold on to the star, and then now the purple seal won't give me a star. I don't know if that actually matters, you know? It's like less than a 1% improvement, maybe. All right, give me the money. We did go back in time, so we don't have to worry about scoring. Like I said, the point of taking the voucher skip We get an extra ante 17. We get an extra low scoring requirement ante. We get an extra ante that doesn't require us to use a mime for points. Okay, copy the Baron and ship it. All right. Strength I don't need. Standard pack I don't need. Would you look at that? You could take stone cards, and then stone cards could be you hold on to them and then use death on them. But, nah. Eventually we can get DNA, and then with DNA we can add more cards to our deck. Arcana pack we can reroll first. Right? We just used a Hermit, so let's look for a Temperance. There's a Hungman. There's Lovers we can hold on to, if I remember. Tower we don't need. Emperor. Yeah. So let's go Arcana first in case there's a Fool. If there's no Fool now when I use the Emperor, it'll give me 2 tarot cards that are different from these 6. And also Emperor cannot give you Emperor. So there's only 15 out of 22 possible tarot cards left. We get a Fool. Ah, bummer. I don't want to use Fool to copy an Emperor. I could reroll. I could just hold on to the Fool and go next. Okay, I don't want to copy the Fool. Nice. The way that it chooses which card to copy here, this is 174 cryptids, so it picks a random card uniformly between all 175 of these, so the odds of us copying the Fool is pretty low. Not 0, of course, but it is pretty low. We can copy the Faceless Joker. Okay. Yeah, let's discard 2 purple at a time. There we go. Hermit, Fool, or Hermit. 3 purples. Okay, discard 3 purples. Death, Tower. Alright, that's it. And then we go parking, money. Yeah, maybe we should do the animation skip now. The animation skip is a little bit dangerous where it goes by so fast that maybe it's easy to kind of get lost in the sauce and then like do the parking too many times and then you run out of hands and you lose and you forget about the final hand Baron. I say this from experience. I'm almost out of water. Alright, switch over to the percolator. When the scoring requirements get higher, then more interesting things can happen. I'm not going to say that they will happen, just that they can happen. Let's go Arcana right now. That's an interesting thing which is currently happening. So if we take the ectoplasm, okay, then we get an extra Joker slot. So the cost of this is -2 hand size. -2 hand size means we're not going to score as many points, and if we don't score as many points, then maybe we need to use cryptids in order to survive. And so maybe the way that you could think about this is, okay, if I use ectoplasm, I get an extra Joker slot for an extra blueprint or brainstorm. That's an extra cryptid per round. 1 cryptid per round, and then you use 1 cryptid per round to balance out the -2 hand size. Except maybe right now the scoring requirements are low enough to where I don't need to do that, and so I can get an extra cryptid without having to need to use an extra cryptid. And this is, again, I want to emphasize here the benefit of you know, the benefit of going back in time early, taking the voucher skip. Did I forget? No, this is the big blinds defeated. I need to buy the voucher, right? Anyway, ectoplasm. So I could get blueprints, I could get brainstorm, I could get Baron. The one thing that I don't want is I don't want to hit Perkeo, because later on you want to sell Perkeo. Sell Perkeo, swap in another blueprint or brainstorm or mime or Baron or some kind of scoring joker, right? Once Perkeo is no longer needed. Anyway, I don't really got a choice. Let's just go ahead and ship it. Gross, but also nice, but also slightly gross. Oh well, we can go Arcana again, sure. So wheel, we don't need any of this, so we skip. All right, now we're shopping. So do I want to use Judgment, or do I want to save in case I get a Fool to copy Temperance? Let's just hold on to Judgment. Hold your judgment for now. I could get Northern Lion. I could get any kind of value generator, maybe. I don't know. Maybe DNA. We don't need Midas Mask. We can take a free roll here. I could sell it in case there's another one that shows up. It is a common. How deep do you want to go? Let's go Judgment first. Golden Joker, interesting. Okay. Don't need Idol, don't need Sock and Buskin. Hallucination gives us tarot cards you can copy with blueprints and brainstorms. Probably not super important to us. You could take Burnt Joker here and get, I don't know, like 6 levels on the high card, except we're discarding 3 at a time for Faceless Joker. Could take Golden Ticket, would give us a lot of money. Maybe. There's a cola. I could get a cola and get another skip tag, another double tag. Is that better than golden ticket? We could put, golden ticket comes back around. We could get mail-in rebate. We got quite a bit of money. We could do a little bit of re-rolling. We could go one more for sure. Go one more. Maybe I should have taken the extra discard for the Faces Joker money. Hermit. Go one more. So there's another free roll. Sure. That's 20 bucks. Kinda. Go one more. Inweasable Joker. So doesn't help me score right now, but could give me another blueprint. So let's get percolating. How concerned are we about this particular boss situation? If I have 2 less kings in hand, am I concerned about this E26? Because I could reroll the boss into the serpent, and then we would have like a pretty chill, easy time. Yeah, we should be okay. So let's do this. Let's copy the Faceless Joker, discard purple. I could, if it helps, make a steel card. I don't know if that's necessary. Alright, discard 3. Okay, discard. Okay. So now we get our parking money. So if we need to, we can use 1 cryptid card, and we know that's a winning hand for sure. Right? We've done it successfully in previous rounds. If I want, I can copy the Baron. Let's test it right now, right? What is it? My spades, my purples are always on the left. So this could be purple, but this should be fine. So we have 2 hands left. Let's try 1. I think that's a red seal. I think I saw it re-triggering. So E28. Alright, so we're good. The next ante, the score goes up, and so we need more. But for now, go next. So, we could go back in time again. So we already know we can do, we're fine. So, okay. Do I use Invisible Joker? Do I swap it? It's fine, I guess. Alright, well, we do a little re-rolling. So, I don't actually need anything right now, right? Yeah, I don't need anything right now, because we went back in time. I can use Temperance here, I can use Arcana Pack here. Yeah, so Fool, Temperance, Hermit, Temperance. Alright, let's get percolating. Okay, E25, boss says discard random cards. That one I can't do. Spades debuff? No. -1 hand size? No. Face down cards? I'd rather not. Clubs debuffed. Fine, we did it. Okay. Copy the Faceless Joker. Let's go next. Skip tags here, I don't need to look at. So now we got both time travel vouchers. Back in time, back in time. I forgot to take the magic trick. Bummer. We don't need the magic trick. I do want this though, reroll surplus. I would like discounted rerolls. Anyway. I would also like an extra hand. Anyway. I probably, if there is another voucher skip, we probably don't take it. Discard. If I needed to, I could make a glass card. Good thing we don't need to. Let's go ahead and ship it. Alright, in the previous round, we were able to score enough points when we had all red seals in hand. So we want to make sure that we have all red seals in hand. Like that. Alright, let's get the Baron ready. And ship it. Gross. E28, probably we could do it with one purple and not necessarily all reds. So if I want to go invisible here, I think that means Scholar, gotta go. Riffraff, gotta go. Alright, it's no longer time to get spooky. Bummer. So that's not the worst. We do get an extra cryptid card per round for a couple rounds, but I do need more points eventually. So let's look for a replacement. Celestial Pack. I did use Temperance, so let's hold on the Celestial Pack. Do a little re-rolling. Fool gives me Temperance. Okay, now we go Plutonium from our telescope. And then Temperance. What are we looking for? A Showman? A DNA? DNA would be good. DNA would be good enough. Okay. There's another cola. Do I want a cola? So we could take colas and then we could stockpile negative tags. Do I want to try to get a negative tag in the future? Seems tough. You would have to get a lot of negative tags. You would also have to have a showman in order for the negative tag to be relevant. And maybe we don't have that capability. We don't have a showman. Have to get rid of the percolator. $16 rerolls. Yeah, sure, why not? Now we have 2 double tags. Get an extra discard. Okay. 6 cents? No. What about Hermit? We can go Priestess first for a little bit of plutonium, maybe. We can hold this Priestess. 468 on a fortune teller. Cute. Sure, why not? Emperor. Judgment. Mail-in rebate. So I think we take the mail-in rebate for the money. That's a lot of money we can copy with the blueprints and brainstorms. I forgot to use judgment. There's an emperor. Oops, I forgot to make room. Yeah, bummer. Plutonium. How deep do we want to go? $35 seems pretty deep. Maybe we stop here. There's temperance. Yeah, let's just go next. So we miss out on 1 cryptic card because we sold Perkeo, but we're about to get $1,000, so maybe I'm not too worried about it. Go next. All right. So copy the rebate instead of the faceless joker. Okay, so the plan is you discard 5 kings at a time as often as you can. And then that gives you like $150 in one rip. We don't want to run out of kings in general. We don't want to run out of red kings. We have cryptid in case of emergency. We can make a steel card in case of emergency. But would prefer not to for the purposes of making money. We will eventually make steel cards because having steel cards will give you more points. But for now, the focus is on money. So if I discard all of the reds, I have 5 more reds in the deck. We can get there. Wool for a hermit. That's good enough. Okay. We've done a big fortune teller before. We've gotten it over 1,000 something or whatever. So I'm just gonna sell a death card. I want to eventually... Let's see here, 6 cards in the deck. I could consider playing a pair so that I can have a better chance of getting the red seal. I'm not super concerned about it. We had E28 even without a red seal, right? We had 1 purple instead of 1 red. Sorry, my character, my avatar is covering up the double tags, but we do have 2 double tags here. Ship it. You know, we could do. Look at that. The alignment's a little bit weird. Let me, let me come down here. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so this is the final hand. Okay. And ship it. Okay. Hey look, rebate on kings. Copy the percolator. So I can use an emperor. We can do a little re-rolling. Bean gives me points, which we don't need right this second. There is some incentive to maybe we don't re-roll. We go 1 more round rebate money and then re-roll in the next ante. Maybe? Fool for an emperor. Bummer. Hermit. Temperance. Fool. Arcana for another fool. Judgment. Nope, I don't need your judgment. Let's go next. We can get a hermit. For feigners, there's an emperor. Okay, death we don't need. Hermit, sure. Banner, we also don't need. Sure, why not? Plutonium. Alright, expensive-ish kind of rerolls, so maybe we stop there. Let's go next. Now, 198 cryptids. Clubs are debuffed, that's okay. Copy the rebate. Go next. So, discard. I will eventually discard some reds, so I might as well discard these reds. Maybe it's worthwhile to hold on to Death or Chariot or Justice. Nah. Okay. If I discard these reds, I still have plenty more reds. Fool for plutonium? Nah, bummer. Alright. Purples and then one red. Alright, we should be fine here. So, Priestess. And then copy the parking money. Alright, we got the red seal. We just have to remember to use the Baron on the final hand. The banner looks sick. Negative banner. I like parking too. It's like very gold. Very aggressively gold. Ship it. Alright, I need to get off this rebate. Okay. So we can go Temperance and then Fool. No, we go Celestial Pack first. Telescope gives me Plutonium. Temperance, Fool, Temperance. Okay. Juggle Tag for extra hand size. If we don't find anything here, we could also skip for the Juggle Tag. Or like I said, we could still just use a cryptid card. Currently we score E28, which is under. If we use one cryptid, we score E37, which is plenty. So just one cryptid per round. Plenty safe right now. No problem. We could pick up the Juggler for one hand size. That would probably be enough. Just one extra king in hand. Could take DNA. I think that's the move. Eventually I want the Mime. So we take the DNA right now, and then we keep re-rolling until we get the Mime. Is that what we're going for? Is that the move? Definitely the DNA is enough right now. So sell the rebate, pick up the DNA. And then that saves us. Now we don't have to use the cryptid. Okay. But we're still looking for the Mime. Okay. Sure. How deep do I want to reroll? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. How about use the Plutonium? What was the last card we used? We used an Emperor, didn't we? Yeah, Emperor. So Plutonium, Priestess, Plutonium. Do a little rerolling. Mail-in rebate. No. Fool. Just looking for a mime, basically. Could take Troubadour for +2 hand size. That would also work instead of the DNA. If the DNA is a little bit annoying. Nah, it's okay. Well... Alright, $35 is expensive for re-rolling. I want that another discount voucher, right? So if you're re-rolling 30 times or whatever, that's $60 per shop if you get another re-roll discount. Anyway, let's get percolating here. Boss says no discards. Extra large is fine. I am fine on points, so extra large is fine, period. Let's go next. So one consequence of using the DNA is now our purple seals get replaced with red seals, or whatever it is that we want to copy specifically with the DNA. And so it's going to make it harder for us to get the tarot cards, but maybe we are done with the tarot cards, maybe that's fine. Let's get my Faceless Joker money. Discard purple. Alright, so this is the final hand, basically. What you do is you copy the DNA. Boop. And then you can get a little bit more money, parking money now. So I don't need a hand this big, right? I can play one. Since our hand is 11 out of 7 right now, we're not going to draw. We're not going to redraw. So our hand gets smaller. We go one more. And then the hand gets smaller, and then that's okay. 9. We can do 9, right? Alright, for the final hand, let's get the Baron ready. And then ship it. So when you're using DNA, you can copy DNA with blueprints and brainstorms, and you can get extra cards on the first hand. Your first hand is going to be the most powerful. Or actually, technically, your second hand. For the purposes of scoring in the future, if we need that to help us survive. Okay, so E41 with the current level of technology. I do want to try to find the mime relatively fast. I probably don't with the showman. I probably don't need another blueprint or brainstorm. Though, if we do get the showman, there could be a negative tag in the future. I would be willing to take a negative tag. I would get 3 negatives. Or do we just stick with the DNA? So currently it costs us 1 cryptid per round. I would have to get a negative tag literally next to ante. I think I'm not going to do it. Literally next ante to get the negative tag. I don't think it's going to happen. I still want to replace the DNA with mime. Okay. Emperor. Temperance. Okay, let's go Arcana, looking for a Fool. Okay. Hermit, sure. Okay. We can get delayed gratification, I guess. Not super important, doesn't seem super important. Fool for a Hermit, I guess. We go Plutonium and then Hermit. Okay. Sticking with the DNA, re-rolling a little bit more. Nice. All right, we get off of the DNA. Nice. get percolating. Okay. Faceless Joker for money. Discard. Death. Okay. So now with the mime, if you want to maximize the amount of money that you make, let's figure it out, right? So card plus red seal, this is 1, 2, 3 activations with the reserved parking, right? So if I do, let's say something like this, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 5 parking, right? So it's 5 times 4. Or if I do it this way, then it's 4 times 5. So this is best. And you know what? We could do this. Hey, look at that. Well, okay. So copy the mime, give me the money. Ship it. Ship it. Kind of like the banner more than the delayed gratification. All right, so for the sake of science here, if you were concerned about whether or not you're going to score enough points, we could just do this. Second to last hand. Parking and Baron here with the mime, whether or not we copy with the blueprints or whatever, it's the same calculation. It's the same optimization. So here, if I go Baron, I have 5 Barons times 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 5. Or you could do 5 times 4. I guess we should do more mimes than Barons because more mimes means we also get parking money. Anyway, here the second to last hand, let's ship it. And then while it's animating, we move the mime. And then at the end of the round, you get extra money from the mime. How long is that? Like 6 seconds? 7 seconds? And if you do it on 0.5 speed, you have 32 times as much time. Oh, that's E45? Yeah. So, sorry, what is 30 times 6 seconds? You got like 3 minutes if you move it to the lowest speed or whatever. Anyway, someone was complaining about, oh, it's a dexterous maneuver required to move the mime, move your jokers. I mean, you got like 2 or 3 minutes to do it. I think it's kind of a stretch calling that a dexterity maneuver. All right. If you change the speed setting, that is. All right, Fool for Temperance is fine. So that was E45. I believe that was E45, right? If we wanted to, we could go back to the menu and then it would show us what our best hand is and then we would know. And then that way we can keep track that way. This means I don't need to do very much shopping anymore, right? We have already stabilized. I could potentially be looking for the DNA still in the future. That would give me more points. DNA for the extra hand size. But we don't need it right now, so maybe we don't reroll right now. If the scoring requirement is only E31, let's do this. Let's go percolating. Now we are up to 216 cryptids. So here's the thing about the bosses and specifically the boss reroll voucher. We can reroll the boss. We can go past all the stinky ones and we can get the serpent, I guess. So the serpent, on average, it takes about 250 bucks to reroll to get the serpent. If you spend $690, you have, it's almost exactly 95% chance to get the serpent in less than $690. Zano calculated, he did the stats. Anyway, with the serpent, let's say you spend $250 rerolling for the serpent. Because the serpent gives you extra hand size, you actually get more money than 250 bucks. And then also in the future, If we need to use cryptids to survive the small and big blind, you don't need to use cryptids to survive the serpent. But there is one caveat here. We don't get to discard as many purple seals. We don't get to discard for the Faceless Joker. It's actually worth it to get the mime money. So, oop. Just discard one at a time. Ooh, Temperance. Alright, so let's optimize for money. So parking goes over here. And then I want to do, so we said this is kind of the same amount of money, whether I do 2 mimes or 3 mimes. I'm going to do less mimes and more parking because I don't want to accidentally score too many points with the mimes and the Baron. So let's go, give me the money. And then just in case, I'll move the mime over here. I don't know if I could do it fast enough. I don't know. Time's running out. Okay, we got it. Okay, so that's E22. And this one's going to be bigger because now we have more kings in hand. I'm just moving the mime just in case. It doesn't actually affect the scoring right now, but if we accidentally go over the points, then I want to make sure that the mime is in place for copying the gold cards. Well, Blueprints and Brainstorm's copying the mime to copy the gold cards. Alright, so more kings, more points, no problem. One more time. This is the point where we start to use the animation skip. You know, if it's gonna take 15 seconds per hand now, and then in the future gonna take multiple minutes per hand, we can skip the animations out of respect for my time and also yours. And if you want to say we cheated by using mods, then I actually don't care. So copy the Baron. We want to do this extra mime so that we get extra parking money. Play the high card. I'll do it one time just so that you can see the score. Ship it. In the future, we'll use the animation skip. Alright, so before the end of the round, with just the parking money, we are up to 5,000 bucks. Again. It's happening so fast I can't actually see the money changing. Again. We've done this before. One time we got $300,000 in one hand. $500 in one hand. Nice. Alright, copy the percolator. Alright, E37 we can do. We don't need another voucher tag. We have all the vouchers, except for the reroll discount. Oh, clearance sale doesn't matter to us. Wait a second. My temperances, hold. Temperances are still 50 bucks because we have a ton of jokers. But my blueprints are only $3. $3 blueprint, $3 blueprint. But luckily, Brainstorm is 9 bucks. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to do shopping. Realistically, we don't need to do any shopping. We'll do a little bit just to see, maybe random negatives. Maybe we get temperance. All right, 109. Wait, no, that's just 10,000, almost 11,000 on the bull. Go next. Okay, we can reroll the boss. The boss, last time the serpent gave us 500 bucks on the final hand, so it's worth it to reroll. Serpent gives us more money. There we go. All right, we were able to score E40 with the mime and the baron. Discard purple. I think it was E40. I don't remember. Nor do I care that much. One thing that's like kind of nice / safe about this build, we're playing it a little bit loose here by trying to get the parking money, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just test it on the first hand, and if the first hand doesn't win, and then you use cryptids, and then if it doesn't win, then you use more cryptids. It's pretty safe. Obviously, we are taking some slight risks here in order to optimize and get the biggest number ever. If you wanted to play it safe, Baron on the last hand, and then ship it. Second to last hand. The number of red seals relative to purple seals does matter slightly, so we want to make sure we have all reds if possible. E45, okay. And this is with no steel cards, by the way, but it's kind of important that we have 100% gold. If you turn them into steel instead of gold, it gives you roughly 20% more, actually 25% more exponent. So here, E45, 25% more, it would be like E57 or something like that. E56 or something like that. So making steel cards does kind of buy you more time to where you don't need to replace your jokers. You don't need to swap out Percare. You don't need to swap out Blueprint for, I don't know, DNA, for example. You don't need to use cryptids as early. But there is a huge advantage to having the gold cards, because any card that's gold instead of steel gives us like 21 bucks at the end of the round per king, right? Copy the percolator, go next. Buffoon pack, no negatives, bummer. Fool on the Emperor, I have a telescope, now 108 level high card. You're supposed to hold on to the planets so that they can't be repeated in the shop. We don't need Invisible Joker. Yeah. A little bit extra re-rolling there to make sure that we hit the Hermit so that I don't have to hold on to the Fool anymore. Go next. Okay. Face this Joker first. Steel cards. Don't need steel cards yet. I told you it was going to be boring. I'm trying to be educational, but there's only so much to know. All right, let's do the thing. Remove animations. Bang. Plus 55 bucks. Bang. It happened so fast I missed it. So on the final hand, I'm not going to do the skip because I do want to do the mime move, the mime maneuver. Okay, so this is our E45. If you want to see, by the way, if we copy Baron and we go 5 Barons and then 2 mimes with the red seal, this should be in the same ballpark. And then we can move the mime. E45, almost exactly the same. The thing that you need to keep in mind when you're counting is the card itself counts as 1 and red seal counts as another one. So here's 1, 2, and then plus however many mimes. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 if there's another mime, and then so on. And then you just want to balance the numbers. So here's Spectral Pack. What am I hoping for from a Spectral Pack? I don't know. Aura? Could get a Polychrome King. Gross. Foiled again. Alright. Plutonium, and then Celestial Pack. Or sorry, then Temperance. Now 528 on the Fortune Teller. Could be higher, but it just takes more game actions that I don't feel like doing. We miss out on a cola here. Is it crazy to drop a mime or drop a blueprint for a cola? You're right, that is crazy. Well, bummer. I could have taken the mail-in rebate. We already have the Serpent boss, so we don't need the mime for this boss in particular. I don't know. You know. Alright, go next. There was the Showman last ante, and I said I would take a negative tag if I had a Showman. So that I could get negative anything. Negative Baron, negative Mime. But maybe now, if I don't have the Showman, I don't take the negative tag. Also, maybe now, I don't have room. I don't have Joker slots for that. Alright. Discard purple. Alright, so animation skip. We want to go parking. We want to go mime. Ship it. With purple seal in hand instead of red seal in hand, it's better to copy the mime than the extra parking. That's 120 bucks. That's 154 bucks. Does this win? It's close, right? That's 160 bucks. Okay. So now for the final hand, do we do the long one? So there is this button, the dramatic final hand button. Gives you time to shuffle your jokers during the final hand. What does that mean? I have done this before and I've been kind of disappointed by the result before. So I think you still do this. You turn down the game speed. How long you have to shuffle depends on what the game speed is, or at least that's how I remember it working. Let's give it a try. So I want to play with the mime, and this is the optimal configuration. Okay. Oh, that is dramatic. Balanced. Okay. And then I have time, then the 400 bucks is from copying the mime. Oh, and then now things are slow. Claim. I think it's working. I think we did it. Okay, next, E43. We know we can hit 45, so we're good here. There is a negative tag. Man, if I took the Showman 2 antes ago, there's no way. It would have cost us a bunch of cryptids. There's no way. Even here, we can barely win without using cryptids. We can use a Hermit. We can wait on the Celestial Pack. Fool for a Hermit. Okay. That would be 3 negatives. I don't know if 3 negatives is enough negatives anyway. Okay, so we don't reroll, we do reroll. What are we rerolling for? Unclear. Do I want DNA? Maybe. Go next. Okay. The boss, we want to get the Serpent. Serpent gives us extra money. Okay. Serpent. Okay. Faceless Joker. Okay. We do want to make sure that we have all reds. Right? Okay. So I think we go 2 purples just to make sure that we draw the red. Okay. And then money. And then second to final hand, copy the Baron. This is not the last hand. So the way this feature works, dramatic final hand, it does have to be the final hand. So if you have 2 hands remaining, it doesn't work. So let's do the animation skip off, right? So this is the one. And if it doesn't work, I can use a cryptid, 240 cryptids upstairs. So ship it. And then it'll be slow. It'll, you know, we gotta wait 30 seconds for it to animate. That's fine. E45. Yep. I don't remember if I've said this before, but the reason why we're not re-rolling, the reason why we're trying to save our money right now is because in the future I will need to replace Perkeo. And so we're going to keep Perkeo as long as possible. We're going to re-roll as late as possible. And then when it's time to get rid of Perkeo, you need to either... No, you need to roll into a Showman. And in the same shop, you need to roll into either a Mime or a Baron or a Blueprint or a Brainstorm. And so you want to spend like 5,000 bucks in one shop. Also, in the future, we will eventually turn our gold cards into steel cards. And once you get steel cards, you stop making money. So what we want to do is we want to earn all the money right now. Is it time for DNA? Is it time for DNA? So I don't need DNA right now. I don't need Cryptid right now, but starting after this ante, after the boss, then we need more points. We start needing Cryptids. So instead of using Cryptids, we can use DNA. That's fine. Bummer. If we had not... If we had not re-rolled one more, we could have gotten DNA after the big blind here. This is going to cost us 1 cryptid. Ah, beans. Oh well. Go next. So this is what I was talking about. Now, in order to survive, we have less blueprints and brainstorms. We get less cryptids per round, but we still get more cryptids per round. Not going to take the negative tag. I don't think there's anything that we can really get. And could we have held on to that Showman? Could we have held on to the Showman? Discard purple. I kind of want a Chariot. Okay. Let's talk about the Chariot. Here's the calculus. Here's the mental math. If I make something into steel, that's kind of, if I turn all these into steel, then that's kind of like the same as having an extra Baron, extra times 1.5 on all my kings. Okay, so the way the scoring works here. The E44 or E45 or E30 or whatever it is, that's the exponent. And the way that you get these really high numbers is with repeated multiplication. So we're talking about exponents here. And if we have, this is my combo, right? It's, well, now it's like this. So it's red seal is 1, 2, 3, 4 triggers or re-triggers, 4 re-triggers. Baron is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 times 4. If you make steel, then you go from 4 barons to 5 barons, essentially. So that's 25% more multiplication, which means your exponent, E45, will be 25% bigger. So plus another E11 or whatever it is. But then that costs us money. Then we're making steel cards instead of making gold cards. I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait on the steel. I think we don't need the points right now. Another way of getting points is, let's say in the next ante you do need E50, okay? How do I get E50? Another way you could do is you could use cryptid to get +2 kings. And so 2 more kings in hand, that's, you know, like, I don't know, 28% more kings, right? 28% more kings is 28% more exponent. Is kind of the same as making a steel card. Let's wait on the steel cards so we can farm more money. Copy DNA on this hand. Okay. On the next hand, I want to get as much money as possible. So we got rid of one of the blueprints. So now it's blueprint, mime, 4x4, right? Get the money. We already know we can do E44. Let's check here. So second to last hand, without using cryptid, we have 10 cards, 9 held in hand. We could use the Balatro calculator. Nah. Let's go copy the Baron, 4x4, ship it. All right, E54 with 9 held in hand. So 10 out of 7, 9 held in hand. Okay, copy the percolator. Hey, look, a hermit. We could get ectoplasm 3. -3 hand size. What does -3 hand size allow us to do? So if we go -3 hand size, we could, in theory, could get another blueprint or brainstorm in the lineup. If we do get another blueprint or brainstorm in the lineup, of course we score more points in the end game. But what does that mean for our short game? What does that mean for right now? 1 extra blueprint means 1 extra copy of DNA, so that's +1 hand size, okay? And then also 1 extra blueprint means 1 extra cryptid every round, so that's +2 hand size. So this is neutral. If we take the ectoplasm, it's neutral. The only bad situation, I guess, is if we get negative DNA, that's bad, because we don't actually want DNA in our final lineup. If we get negative Perkeo, that's also bad, because we want to swap out Perkeo for a blueprint or brainstorm, swap out DNA for a blueprint or brainstorm. I think it's not worth it. There's a 1 in 3 chance that it hits DNA or Perkeo, and that's bad. So we skip. But it would be neutral. It would be positive if it landed on mime or Baron or blueprints. Bummer. We can do a little bit of re-rolling, I guess. Troubadour. Could have had a mail-in rebate. You can't use the mail-in rebate against the Serpent, though, because you can't discard 5 at a time. You have to discard 1 at a time. You don't have to, but it's probably best if you do. Hey, look at that. Ooh, could have taken Andrew. Andrew extra discards also does give you extra hand size against the Serpent, because you discard 3 times, and then you redraw 3 times. Alright, go next. We can copy the DNA. Discard the purple. So now we're gonna reach a point where we just can't get our purple seals anymore, but that's okay. So copying the DNA, I'm gonna ship it. I'm actually gonna we'll do the skip now, because this is gonna take a while. Boop. Okay. How much did we score before? It was like E51 or something? I forgot. So now, mime, parking, money, 160 bucks, money again, 170 bucks, okay. Then we go Baron, we go Dramatic, Final Hand, we go half speed. So ship it, points, and then mime. So we get 58 bucks from parking. E138, and then we get 500 bucks from the mime at the end of the round. Nice. Oh, and then now we gotta cut that out. Cool. Cool. We get an extra hand. Extra hand is great against the Serpent because that's extra hand size. Nice. Now we have both discards and both extra hands. Nice. Someone asked me about the observatory. How relevant is the observatory instead of the telescope? So if you imagine, let's say you got 5 barons and you got 5 mimes. Well, not 5 mimes, but you have 3 mimes plus red seals. Then that's 5 times 5. 5 barons re-triggered 5 times. That's 25 1.5s per king. 25 each. Okay, if you use cryptid, you get 2 kings. So that's 25 and another 25. That's 50 total. So every cryptid card, 1 cryptid card is the same as 50 Pluto cards with the observatory. Observatory is the one that gives you times 1.5 mult for every Pluto that you have. Pluto copying with Berkeo. Specifically, I think the commenter said, oh, you would get a ton more points with observatory. Maybe not. Let's go pick up the plutonium. Pool gives us temperance. Okay, so we'll go plutonium, temperance. I didn't pay attention to what was in the shop. I didn't pay attention to what negatives we would have gotten. Maybe you can tell me in the comments later what negatives we would have gotten. This ante, we need E51. We could do E51. I'll show you. Let's go. Are we done with purples? Like, just completely done? We could switch it to a red seal. Sure. Let's get percolating. Only 5 cryptids per round, now up to 255. Okay, so first we go Faceless Joker. We re-roll the boss. Remember, it takes about $250 per ante on average. So if you have, I don't know, 20 antes left, that's whatever, 20 times 250, that's 5,000. You need 5,000 bucks in order to re-roll bosses. And then we want to save some money for re-rolling the shop to replace our Perkeo. We want to re-roll into Showman in the last couple shops. All right, now we discard Faceless Joker. Maybe what we should do is we should discard 5, and then we have a better chance of hitting purple. Yas. All right, so here's the move. You copy the DNA, ship it. We could skip the animations. Oop. All right, then before we played a few extra hands for the parking money, I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to go ahead and submit the points. So here's ship it. We said before, okay, 10 cards in hand. No, it was 9 cards in hand. Wait, was it 10 or was it 9? I forgot. Anyway, E59, no cryptids, save all the cryptids. Cool, copy the percolator. We can do a little shopping. Just a little bit, just to see. We could go one more. No, Fool. Plutonium. Temperance. Alright, that's it. Go next. Faceless Joker. Still have a couple purple seals. Okay. Copy the DNA. Sorry. It also takes time to like do the menuing and turn on the animation skip, so sometimes I don't feel like doing the menuing. Ship it. E59. Should I write that down? Let me do one of these. Okay. I've got a better one. I think it's this one, this pen. Again. Yum. Alright, copy the percolator. Plutonium. Plutonium again. Alright, Hermit. Hey, look at that. 19,000 on the bull. We can do a little re-rolling. Don't need a troubadour. Alright. Alright. Okay. Are we... Is this... So... Go next. Okay. Then DNA. Okay. Discard purple. Wait a second. I did a goof. I put the red seal on a spade. I'm devastated. I can't believe you've done this. DNA. Alright, now I will do the animation skip because this one we actually are not worried about. Scoring wise, no fear. So, mime, parking, money. How much was that? Oh yeah, 198 bucks. 190 bucks. Okay, for the final hand, we go Baron. We go Dramatic, final hand. Ship it. Oh yeah, that is dramatic. And balanced. Don't forget balanced. E155. If we wanted to score Nan Inf, that's not a number. It's E308. So the way that you would do it is, if we got 20 kings in hand, you use 10 cryptid cards and go up to 40 kings in hand, and that would do it, basically. Approximately. 10 cryptids, that's all it takes. Oh, the money is... Hold on. There we go. Copy the percolator. Okay, observatory. E59. I feel like maybe now I want steel. I'm gonna try steel. We're gonna get less money. I'm gonna be sad. But eventually I want to have steel cards anyway, so I might as well do it now. There's that ectoplasm. Don't tempt me. There's the chariot. Okay. There's the fool. So we can go plutonium. I'm going to save the temperance card because I'm going to use the chariot first. Let's go next. Okay. Reroll the boss. Dinky. What about... Average is 25 rerolls. So there we go. Okay, we go Faceless Joker. Discard to find purple. Okay, so you know what? I will go Temperance and then Fool. And maybe Temperance and then maybe discard. Maybe discard again. I have to remember not to get rid of the chariot. Okay, so the reason why I'm going to use the chariot here is... Did we get E52, 59 before? We did get E59, but how big was it? Is it going to be like 4 E59 or was it less? I think it's late enough that we can make some steel cards and then maybe don't stress about it. I don't want to use my cryptids, so, and I want to make steel anyway eventually, so we might as well. Okay. So copy the steel card. And then, so I have an even number of barons and mimes-ish. So on the gold cards, it's 4x4, and then with the steel card, you get an extra times 1.5, so it's 5x4. So this is the optimal configuration. Let's do this. So I'm gonna play the gold one. This cost me 20 bucks. That's okay. And then the steel, we had E59 before. I know because we wrote it down. And then this will be slightly bigger, E59, so we don't have to use cryptid. Yeah. E66. Yes. Okay. Buffoon packs. Cola, we can't take it. Fool for a chariot? Oh, maybe. Maybe. I'm gonna need a chariot. I need to have a steel card in my hand in order to copy it. So maybe we do need the chariot. How expensive is this gonna... This little maneuver, how much is it gonna cost me? Lovers? No. There's a showman. Does the showman do anything interesting for me right now? No, not right now. Where's my where's my Tarot Tycoon at? Do I want the burglar? So the thing that you can do with the burglar is against the serpent. Burglar you copy with blueprints and brainstorms, you get extra hands. Extra hands means extra hand size. But this doesn't help you against regular rounds. I think we're fine without this. In the future, the scoring requirements will be high enough that we skip regardless. We always skip to the boss. And then if I'm only fighting bosses, then I take the burglar instead of the DNA. Maybe I'm supposed to be holding on to tarot cards. I've seen like 6 hung men, but no chariot. Okay. There you go. Hold on to the hung man, get the chariot instead. Go next. Maybe I spent more than I needed to spend. Probably I spent more than I needed to spend. Okay, we just actually get the steel cards in hand. So I don't need that much steel. I just need the 1 steel. So let's get rid of the chariot and discard all these. As long as we have the 1, it's fine. Maybe you could use the hung man to get rid of the gold cards now and have only steel cards. Okay, so we go DNA. Oop. Get the Baron and the Mime ready. Okay. Play the purple. Maybe I don't need to play the purple. Maybe I just play the steel instead. It's $20. All right. All right, we can copy the percolator. We can use the plutonium. We probably have no problem against this boss here, so I'm not going to worry about the chariot right now. What I'm going for right now is just a couple of rerolls. Something to copy with my fool. We are now up to 578 on the fortune teller. I still want this. I still want the discounted rerolls. If we do plan on rerolling maybe 50 at a time, then that would save us $100. Other voucher that I want, that's it, right? Just the discounted reroll. Look, another showman. All right, I think we're good. Serpent. Okay. Discard the purple ones. So I could keep discarding purple ones. Yeah. It is expensive to discard purple. Because that's gold that I'm discarding for these tarot cards. You know what? Actually, I think you're supposed to discard the steel ones. Here, I don't need the steel. I think here I'm going to make gold. Against the serpent, we're chilling, right? Let's go turn on the animation skip. All right, so we go copy parking and mime. Get rid of the steel ones. Get the money. One more time. Okay, for the final hand, let's slow it down. Now we copy the Baron. And we throw away the steel one. Baron, mime, got it. Cool. And then we get $500. Nice. And then we can turn the speed back on. Cool. We did it. We can do a little re-rolling. Now we can do a little bit more re-rolling. Discounted re-rolling. Ante 23. Skip tags I don't care about. Oh, what's the scoring requirement? E68. Okay, so now I'm pretty sure I want either one cryptid or a fully steel hand. Can we achieve that? Can we get a fully steel hand? Maybe. Is a fool part of that plan? No, I just want the money. Is that greedy? No, it's fine. Alright, we do a little bit more re-rolling. Looking for a chariot. Do I feel like holding on to tarot cards to block them? Nah. Do I want a death card to go with my chariot? Hey, Chip. It depends how much I'm willing to pay for it. Maybe the answer is I'm not actually willing to pay that much for it. I think we're fine. Cool. So let's get percolating. Okay. The boss is going to be the serpent. So suppose, hypothetical, let's say we have to use one cryptid per round. We still make 5 cryptids per round, so we don't have to skip yet. We're still positive on cryptids. So we don't want to necessarily go all the way to ante 39, but we want to go far enough that we get as many cryptids as we can, and then we will cash out when it's time. Alright, so serpent time, we can go Faceless Choker. Steel card in hand. I'm gonna try using the chariot. I'm gonna try discarding to find more steel. I'm not gonna get money from this round if I've got a bunch of steel cards instead of gold cards, but I can still get money from the serpent because the serpent, we don't need steel, basically. Okay, so copy the steel. Oop. Okay. Now, if I want to score the best possible hand, I play the purple. Okay, and then one more mime or one more baron. This is the same amount of points. Either way, it's 4 by 5. So get ready. Animation skip off. Because I want to do this. Which gives me, if I got 2 kings, that's 40 bucks. Alright, so 10 cards in hand, 2 of them are gold. Didn't use any cryptids. E71. Okay, so I could do it without cryptids, but I have to, it's going to cost me money. I have to sacrifice money. Oh, I noticed the deck is taller now. So hold on, let me do this. Let's scoot up over here. There we go. Sorry about that. How long has it been like that? Probably the past hour. Alright, so Temperance, we go Celestial Pack first. Take the Plutonium. Temperance, Buffoon Pack. We can do a little re-rolling. Just a little bit. Do I want a chariot? I do want a chariot. Was there a chariot? Did I miss it? Or a death card, I guess. Strength? There's a chariot. Okay, so Plutonium. Temperance. As long as I have a steel card for my DNA to copy, I could also make a glass card if I need to. I'll go a little bit deeper just in case we get a death card. But we should not spend all our money. Does justice matter? Probably not. Go next. Okay. Copy the Faceless Joker. Serpent is already re-rolled. Okay, I'm gonna make a steel card right now. And then dig for more steel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. this hand is exactly the same as before. Right? So Baron over here, mime in the middle. Play this one. I could turn it into glass. That's okay. Eight out of 10 steel. Maybe I should write this down. Okay, and then that's going to be E71. Got it. Okay. Get me out of here. So I have not yet reached the portion where I need to use cryptids. So I don't need the burglar. Okay. Level 131 high card. Use temperance. All right, so we could do emperor. Looking for a chariot. Okay, there's an emperor. Fool. Maybe a fool does become an emperor if I need it. Oh, for this boss, sorry, for the boss I don't need steel, so actually we'll just go hermit and then fool and then sell. And then we're good, then we just go next. Okay. DNA. I want to discard purple. I want to discard steel. Getting the tarot cards gives me $1, whereas the extra gold cards held in hand gives me a lot of money from the mime. So we copy the DNA. We do the animation skip. Okay, we go not Baron, but we go parking, we go mime. Get rid of the steel cards. 160, 170. On the final hand, we go Baron. Okay. And before we ship it, turn down the speed. Dramatic. Hey, we got $13,000 reduce. E150 with 20 kings in hand. All right, turn the speed back on. Okay, so I have 3 double tags. There's a double tag. Andy tags $200. Fortune teller's almost 600. I am noticing that there's a little bit of lag. Just by the way, that's not necessarily because the game state is particularly exciting or interesting. Large deck size or 259 cryptids upstairs. The game actually has a memory leak, and so if you just leave the game open for a long time, then it starts to slow down, regardless of what you have going on, even if what you have going on is not very complicated. So we will be ending here soon, probably. In the next round, E77. What I wrote down was E71. I think it's cryptid time. I think it's 1 cryptid. Let's try it. Also, it's probably steel time now. Maybe. Oh, I should have taken the death card. Is that true? How badly do I need the chariot? Or can we just discard to find steel? We could probably discard to find steel. It's not that big a deal. Maybe it's kind of expensive to reroll. If we don't draw the steel, you just use extra cryptids. Use 2 cryptids instead of 1. Ah, bummer. This chariot could have been a cryptid. Ah. Got that 2 out of 300 chance. Bummer. 1% is not that rare. Okay. Important thing to note about the boss reroll, and then also the bosses here. In ante 8 and 16 and 24 and 32, all of the multiples of 8, you get the finisher bosses, is what we call them. So if I reroll here, you can't get the serpent. Cannot be a serpent. But we can reroll into the violet vessel, and then it's kind of bland and non-invasive. All right, go next. So with the chariots and the death card, I have access to plenty of steel. I can go ahead and do it now. Use death. I want to get all of my I want to get my Faceless Joker money, so I am going to discard here somewhat aggressively. Okay, so we can go Steel, Emperor, Fool for another Emperor. Okay, we're not going to do that. So DNA, if I am going to use Cryptid, do I go Steel or do I go Cryptid? I'm just going to go Steel because then I don't have to think as hard about it, maybe. Okay, so with this configuration, we were able to do E71, and then now if I need E77, we go 1 Cryptid right here. Probably I can do gold, it doesn't have to be steel, probably, if I want to get another 50 bucks. So, yeah, go 1. Okay, and... Alright, so I've got Blueprint, Brainstorms on Baron, I've got Blueprint on Mime. We keep the gold cards. This is 13. Chip it. Alright, let's write it down. Alright, so I wrote down, we've got 9 of these are steel out of 12 cards held in hand. And then that's going to be E83. Or I'll just write it down as 1 Cryptid. Alright, cool. So, copy the percolator. The reason why I'm going to write it down is because I'm not going to remember a couple days from now when I stop this run and come back to it later. Okay, we can take a death card if we want to start making more steel. E83 is like quite a bit bigger than E87, so maybe I'm not super concerned about that. Yeah, what I want to do is I want to go in here, Arcana, right? I want to turn the steel into gold, actually. I want to have steel cards in my hand for DNA to copy, but if I'm using Cryptid, I want to use it on gold cards. I kind of still want to have the gold cards for the money, even if it's only a little bit of money. Maybe it's like kind of greedy to do that. And I don't really want for KO to copy death. Maybe that's unavoidable. Let's find a chariot. Maybe at some point we should just stop doing plutonium at all. Alright, since we have the chariot, I'm going to stop re-rolling. Is it boss time actually? Not yet. Okay. So, go next. Okay. Copy the DNA. No, copy Faceless Joker. I can make steel. I can save the death card. Okay. All right. Yeah, so maybe the purple ones are supposed to become red seals, so maybe I go death here. Maybe actually I go death here. DNA. Oh, that didn't put on the animation skip. Okay, we need one cryptid. Boop. Play the steel card. Show me the money. This is going to be less than the previous hand because we have more gold instead of steel, but it's not going to be enough less to matter. It'll be good enough, and then we'll be able to get more money. Basically, each gold into steel is E1 difference. It's a 10 times difference, basically. So if we had with 9 steel, it was E33. If you have 2 less, it's E81-ish. Rough estimate, very rough estimate. Against the boss, we don't need to take any equipment with us, so we can go Celestial Pack for plutonium. Hermit. Cool. Maybe go 1, 2, 3. There we go, one more. We got discounted rerolls. Alright. C. Temperance, go next. Alright, so now we're up to 307 cryptids. We can copy DNA. Oh, actually, so this is not the serpent. That's okay. Alright. We want to find steel. We have death. We can make steel. Okay. I can also make gold if I want to make gold. Let's go gold. And I want to have like half steel, half gold. Let's do this. DNA on steel or gold? Gold? Steel. I'm indecisive. It's close enough. Okay. Split. Go gold. I want to have the gold ones for the serpent bosses because then the serpent gives us more money. Okay. Here with this many, we should be fine. The easy way to go, if you're not worried about optimizing for money, you can just go all steel every time. But where's the fun in that? Yum. Alright folks, that's gonna be it for this episode. That's gonna be it for part 3. That did get a little bit spicier than I thought it would be. We did have to bust out the pen and paper. We had to do a little bit of doodling. Status update here. Okay, so we got the blueprint and brainstorm here. We did get an extra Joker slot by taking an ectoplasm. We now have 300 cryptids. We started with 150, now we have 306 cryptids. We got all the vouchers that we wanted. We got to go back in time, so we're not going to be able to go back in time again in the future. Our deck is now a mix of both gold red seals and then steel red seals. In our final hand, we only need one steel, and then you copy the steel card with the cryptids. So strategies for the future. What are we looking at for the future? Eventually we will reach a point where we need more cryptids in order to survive the small and big blinds. Currently, small blind, big blind, we used one cryptid here, and we can make 5 cryptids per round with 2 blueprints, 2 brainstorms, copying per KO. That's 5 per round. Maybe next ante you need 2 or 3 cryptids per round, but it's still positive, right? It's still +5, -3, +5, -3, or whatever it is. Then eventually we'll get to a point where maybe the number of cryptids required is, let's say, 8 cryptids or 9 cryptids in order to survive. The way that you get around that is, okay, well now if it's negative cryptids, I can skip to the boss. I can reroll the boss, use the boss reroll voucher, and just guarantee that the boss is the serpent. And then the serpent kind of acts like cryptids, right? Where you discard it, you play 1 at a time, you draw 3 at a time. So it's a net +2. -1, draw 3, -1, draw 3. It's a net +2 per hand, per discard. And so we'll get into a phase where we're always skipping to the serpent. And then when you skip to the serpent, the reason why we use DNA is because DNA gives us +5 hand size or +4 hand size or something like that, because you can copy it with the blueprints of the brainstorm. If you're against the serpent, the extra +4 or 5 hand size from the DNA doesn't actually matter that much. Obviously it helps a little bit, but it doesn't matter that much. So once we get to the point where always skip to the serpent, then what we want to do, replace the DNA with burglar. Burglar because against the serpent, if we get extra hands from the blueprints and the brainstorms, then that's extra hand size, right? You have 20 hands, you play 1, draw 3, play 1, draw 3. So that's 60 hand size. That is one way that you can get the E308. That's one way that you can get the not a number score, is with burglar. Replace the DNA with burglar, and then force, reroll, skip all the way to the serpent boss. Except for Ante-32, we can't do that in Ante-32. In Ante-32, you just got to use like 20 cryptids or something like that. Or maybe we cash out our final hand even before Ante-32. Maybe we don't go all the way to Ante-32. In the distant future, what we're looking at is Perkeo gives us cryptids right now. Eventually, I want to replace Perkeo with something that scores. So we pick up a showman, and then while holding the showman, try to get another mime or baron or blueprint or brainstorm. And then that'll be our final scoring configuration eventually when we get there. So we said at the beginning with 150 cryptids, we could score E2700. Now, since we have twice as many cryptids, that's twice as many kings held in hand. That means the exponent is twice as big. So now we can score E5000, E5500. Assuming that we replace Perkeo and DNA, one of these, with Blueprint or Brainstorm. And then even higher if we get a second Blueprint or Brainstorm or Baron or Mime. Anyway, we got 2 empty Joker slots, is what I'm saying. This run, the rest of this, could get kind of interesting maybe. So I'm going to finish up the rest of this on Twitch. So we'll do a live finale. It will be this Saturday, which means that's 2 days from now. It'll be our normal evening time on Saturdays, 5 p.m. Central on Saturdays. And then the YouTube VOD will come out maybe a day or two later. Take care, everyone.